Welcome to the Net Profit Podcast with Ryan Kibler, your net profit CFO, helping business owners like you grow their net profit one episode at a time. And now your host, Ryan Kibler.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Net Profit Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Kibler, the Net Profit CFO. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I have Kristen David with me. Kristen is a former trial lawyer. She really has undergone a complete transformation in her business, in her life. She went from working 85 hours a week to now having $1 million plus practice that she runs virtually, traveling the world. A third of her years typically spent in Seattle, a third in Paris, and then the other third, she travels the rest of the world. If you have not taken a vacation lately, or if you have not been able to travel and go the places that you've wanted to, I highly, highly encourage you to turn up the volume and tune in, because Kristen is going to help us with that today. Kristen, thank you so much for taking the time and being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me. I love sharing these tips on helping people get out and live life and keep their business going.
Sure, absolutely. So I gave, a little bit about your background. I also want to give you an opportunity as well. If there's anything you want to add in there, or just share even more about your bio, a little bit more about your background, and kind of introduce yourself to the rest of my audience, I want to give you an opportunity to do that.
Listen, I went to law school and there was so much I didn't know, and so much, professional schools don't teach you about how to run a business like a business. I mean, it's the same whether it's CPA classes or dental or chiropractic or doctor, lawyer, right? They're so good about focusing on what's relevant to clients and such, but they don't teach you how to really create a systematic approach to your financials, to your admin materials, to your marketing, your sales, all the things that need to run so that you can live life and take vacations and not be there at the office doing it all the time. So that's my story. I too went to professional school, went to law school, started down this path of entrepreneurship without really knowing how to juggle all the competing needs, and learned how, and thought, wow, I wish somebody would have just given me a book or taught me how to do this early on. Would have saved so many hours of stress and missed birthdays, missed parties, missed events, had I just known a lot of this stuff earlier. So I'm on a mission these days to help business owners learn how to do this stuff the easy way.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. School makes you an expert at your craft, not an expert in business, is what I always say.
Absolutely. And it also, no one really talks about the lost profits, the lost revenue. When you're stuck busy trying to fix something or do something 5 times in a row that you could have delegated, this isn't the best use of the owner's time or of your high producers. And yet all too often people jump in trying to help out, and they think they're helping the business, but they don't realize we're actually stealing profits from the company when we do it that way. And if we just learned how to document some of these systems and procedures early on, well, voila, we could delegate and not spend our time doing those things and have more free time to do what we love. So listen, I wanted to bring some action stuff. I am all about results, all about bringing it so that we can let people use some of these nuggets. So my story is, law school, was a lawyer, successful trial lawyer, ended up learning how to run the business like a business, loved entrepreneurship, sold the business. Now I run a coaching company that has 11 coaches. We have systems packages. We have experiences around the world doing what I love, traveling, living the life I love. I think it's possible for any kind of business to have some bandwidth and some freedoms. And so my goal is to help everybody start a step at a time, putting some of these procedures in place so that they too can enjoy life a little bit more. So that's what I'm all about. That's where I've been. With that, Ryan, I'd say let's dig right in.
Yeah, let's dive right in. So I think for business owners, right, it's very, very easy to get overwhelmed with, all the hats that you wear. And, everybody says, systematize and delegate. And, that's the easy thing to say. But then it's like, where do I get started? And so I
Yep.
think let's just start with that. I mean, when you're coaching business owners now with your business, I mean, where do you get them started?
So the first thing is to understand systems are just a manner of documenting, not necessarily in writing, but in a manner of ways, how you want things done. And people have different learning styles. So, step one of all of this is just understanding a system is simply a process of how you want it done. And we document it sometimes in the written policy, why, and procedure, how, right? In the written format. And that's great for those learning styles that love to read and write, right?
Yep.
They read, see those, and they're like, yay. And for others, it like their brain kind of, eyes roll up. There are other parts of learning styles and other parts of documenting the processes. And that's where we really need to focus in and be okay, everyone, with the fact you're not going to have all 6, 7 elements done right away. Maybe you like to write policies and procedures. Cool, start there. Maybe you're a visual learner and you like audio, video, right? So you want to record a little 3-minute video. Here's how to do this. Maybe you're a diagrams workflow person. So you want to jump on Canva and spend 10 minutes, create a quick little diagram. Here are the 6 steps to do X, right? Maybe you're a checklist person. You think very logically, right? You want to like bang it out, get it done, right? So cool, start there. Maybe you're a kinesthetic learner, and that means a lot of the lawyers and paralegals I work with, they're kinesthetic learners. They learn by doing. So for them, they're like, show me an example of what great looks like. Cool, now give me the template, let me get started. Like for them, the best way for them to learn it is to do it, to like actively jump in and do, not just watch a video about it or read a procedure about it. Like they want to do the thing. So a system, everyone, is just, there are different ways you can document how you want it done and use the ones that make sense to you in the beginning. And as you develop your team, they're going to come along and fill in these gaps. You're going to get your millennials and Gen Zs to like film some videos, and you're going to get somebody that's a big visual learner, go into Canva, create some graphics or some workflows or, visual designs. Be okay with the fact that you're not going to build all parts of it in one day. And that's just start with one little part, one little piece, and it all starts adding together. I promise you. So that's lesson number 1. Does that make sense, Ryan?
For sure it does. Yes. And I've experienced that in my own firm as well. I mean, I completely a video person, right? My assistant is let me write it up like Word, right? And so typically like we'll jump on a Zoom call, I'll record doing something, in person, we'll record it, she'll have the video. And then if she has any questions, she can definitely ask me while we're live, right? And then afterwards we have the video, we keep that, and then it also gets written up as a procedure because that's how she likes things. So very complimentary, and it has worked well for us so far.
Awesome. This is the synergy that's great where, I mean, you like doing videos. So cool. After every video, just have it transcribed. And then it helps if during the video, you're kind of like step 1, do this, step 2, do that. Like put a little sticker note up there to remind yourself to say step 1, step 2, right? Because that helps create that easier to understand transcript. And then somebody else can clean it up. Other people, they like to start with a checklist. And I often tell, like I've had staff and I've been like, okay, well, what are the 5 components, the 5 kind of main steps? And they're like, well, there's this, 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 and this. Cool. That's your checklist. Those are the 5 boxes. And then later on next week or the week after, just go back. That's the what in the check boxes. And then go back and add the who shall do what. You already have the what by when. And that's your procedure. You add the who and when to that checklist, each item. And that's all it takes is just get started on it. Just, we can always make it better, and training new people is the best time to build. Honestly, it's the best time to build.
For sure. Yeah.
So,
And I love the checklist too. Because I think checklists as a business owner, give you quality internal controls, right? Because, you can have people like initial off on the checklist monthly, right? And it's like, I've done this, right? Don't initial if you haven't done it, right?
Yeah. And one last thing I'll say about, since we're on checklists. So this is everybody, if you want to add 3 to 5 percentage points of profit to your business, start using checklists. And here's why. So checklists are what are going to ensure completion the right way. And so what happens is we have 5 things on the checklist, and then number 6, you're going to put review the above and confirm completion and celebrate. So what we do is research shows, just like in Facebook or social media or X or whatever, whenever you see a like or a heart, a thumbs up or whatever, you literally have a little dopamine rush.
Yep.
Whether you receive it on your post or whether you give it. This is how people are so addicted to social media, because it creates this little mini dopamine rush. Well, we want to create the same dopamine rush every time somebody finishes a checklist.
Yep.
And so when they get to step 6, or part 6, it says, confirm you did the 5 steps above and then celebrate. And so the brain starts to have that dopamine rush and that desire for celebration. And so guess what? People are going to show up in the morning wanting to get checklists done, wanting to get their, like zoom through and complete, because then they celebrate, complete and celebrate. And so they're literally going to get faster at doing what they're doing. They're going to complete things more often. And listen, more productivity means more profitability for the business. So, and the more they do the same thing over and over, the more they have greater confidence that they're doing it the right way and they're doing a good job. So you're going to have happier team, happier clients, because they're getting stuff done faster for them, and happier owners because we're being more productive and profitable. So that one little tip on checklists, add the last part of, and whatever number it is, review the above and confirm completion and celebrate that you got this done. Like that one little part to a checklist adds 3 to 5% percentage points of profitability. It's amazing.
For sure. That is amazing. I love that tip. That is great. Let's move on to kind of part 2, or step 2, if you will, right?
Step 2 is really decide where you want to start with your policies and procedures. So I'm going to talk about where to start, and then I'm going to go into the vital systems I'm going to encourage you to start with to be able to travel. So real quick on where to start. Sometimes some people are very chronological thinkers, and it might be best to start with the client journey. Where's the intake? Like for the first touch that they come into, you touch your office or your business. How do we get them through to becoming a paid client? How do we hand them off to the production team to take care of them? How do we ensure that everything's completed, right? Sometimes you just want to start, you want that first introduction to be very smooth for the client so that it's not clunky.
Yep.
If you're clunky later on, clients will forgive you if you were smooth in the beginning. If they just paid you a bunch of money and it's clunky right up front, they're going to be dubious, and you're never going to regain that trust. So for some of you that are chronological thinkers and not sure where to start, just start at the beginning of that client journey and start walking your way through those procedures. For others, it's really a matter of what's critical. What is like massively not working in your business right now? Maybe it's collections. I was just talking to a potential client. She has $320,000 worth of accounts receivable. And she self-admitted it's because she really just doesn't get the bills out. And it's like, you did 70%, you did the work, you wrote down the time. All you have to do is run the pre-bill and get the invoice out. Like, you're almost there. It's not even like a client that hasn't written down their time. She's written down her time. She just hasn't gotten it out there. Or she sent one invoice and has never followed up again. And, I'm like, okay, this is critical. Like, go collect some of that money and hire a billing clerk who can now crank that wheel for you, and go collect some of your $300,000 of AR.
That is a ton.
Right. So sometimes, you guys, it's what's critical. What is just like a crucial element that's just a massive burning pain point? Start there. Like you will be happier knowing you've made that a better resolution and a better process. It will allow you to sleep better at night. It will allow, like, don't go work on intake if some other piece of the puzzle is like what's most critical. So sometimes you just need to like triage, kind of like an emergency room, what needs to be worked on first. So that's just a little bit of intro on where to start. And, worst case scenario, spend 10 minutes on anything.
Yeah.
If you spend 10, 15 minutes rather than doing it yourself, writing down how to do it, you just clawed back 10, 15 minutes of time every single week for the rest of the year. Like sometimes it's just what is something you do that you just need to get off your plate? Spend 10 minutes getting started. Don't even worry about perfecting it. Just get started on documenting that process of how you want it done. And that will make you feel better. So those are some quick how-to action steps on triage.
For sure. Love that. And I like to encourage business owners. I actually learned this from a marketing coach that I worked with a long time ago, but block out 30 minutes in your calendar every week for procedures and just documenting things. Because as you mentioned, I mean, once you've built it one time, if it takes you 10 or 15 minutes, then you've clawed that back in your week for the rest of the year, and so spending 30 minutes a week, buys back a lot of your time.
Oh, a ton of time. Absolutely a ton of time. And that's just, as you grow, you'll have more time, but in the beginning, just it's like making yourself a priority and paying yourself your own salary, right? You just have to do it, even if it seems painful and you're like, oh, I don't have the money. Yes, you do. Just do it. Just get started.
Yeah.
So listen, let's move on to travel because this is the fun part. So
yeah, let's do it.
I have an apartment in Paris. I have an apartment in Seattle, Washington. The other third of the time I'm traveling different time zones, different areas. Number one, most critical thing you got to get a handle on and have a good procedure on is your calendar, because that's what's going to tell you no matter what time zone, what do you need to show up and do, right? You need to be true to your word. If you tell your team you're going to meet with them, if you tell your clients you're going to meet with them, you can't be like, oh, I got the time zone wrong. Like there's a nice little tool in Google, Gmail, and in Outlook that like, it's a little world clock. You just click that and set, where are you, right? Like easy enough to do, you guys. So having one of the vital systems is your calendaring system. And in there, you want to decide if you need a master calendar for the business and then individual calendars for different, like in my old law firm days, my different associates each had their own individual calendar, but there was a master calendar for like firm-wide events, holidays, key deadlines, things like that. So you want to have a good procedure on what's the calendaring detail that shall be in every entry, the fact that there shall be an agenda in every meeting. So there's clarity of what's supposed to get covered. And so we make sure we make good use of our time. Make sure that there's a procedure for how to add in some prep time or a reminder, a kind of a tickler. The old fashioned name was tickler, but like reminder system of an hour ahead, a day ahead. Hey, make sure you're prepped for this meeting so that when you show up for your meetings, you're on point, you're attentive. This is going to showcase you as a really organized entrepreneur. So traveling can be great, but we've got to have a good calendar we can rely on. That would be first and foremost, number one. Now, next system is deadlines. I would highly encourage everybody to have a good deadlines system. How do you, like, what is drop dead? Like, must get, in my days, filed with the court, but it must be filed with some administrative body. It might be filed with, or get it back to your client because they're leaving town. Like, there needs to be some mandatory deadlines. And even if there is no mandatory deadline, put in a soft deadline just to move a matter forward. Every new case that you get, after every phone call or after every meeting, always set those deadlines of what are the next milestones? What are the next steps? What do we want to get done? That little tip is going to keep you proactive. And that's a godsend when you're traveling. There is nothing worse than being traveling and you're supposed to be catching a train and they need something from you by 2 p.m. and you're like trying to do multiple things. And that sucks, you guys. Like it's not fun. So let's nail the calendar and learn to be proactive with that calendar and set milestones and deadlines. Those two things are going to help you tremendously so that you can work on the road in your framework, not in a reactive mode by someone else's framework. So speaking of working from the road, a couple tips there. If you're in Europe, Hyatt hotels are really great for catering to business people. So they have really fast Wi-Fi. So always, always, always have a plan A, B, and C wherever you're going. If you're going to go stay in an Airbnb and it says great Wi-Fi, you better have a backup plan. It might be on your cell phone as a hotspot. It might be knowing where the closest Hyatt hotel is, where you have to pivot and say, no, I got to do this podcast or this whatever event in 3 hours. I need to go get an overnight room. And listen, maybe you only go use that Hyatt or that hotel room for 4 hours. You don't even sleep there. But if it's your livelihood and you promise to show up for something, or you're a keynote speaker or something big is happening, you better make sure you have good Wi-Fi. So plan A, plan B, plan C. I actually always travel with a laptop and a backup laptop, a cell phone and a backup cell phone. And so I always have plan B and C. If the Wi-Fi doesn't work, I've got my phone hotspot on T-Mobile. I've got my backup phone on Verizon. But listen, not all of you need burner phones. I travel a lot. So, and my whole business is virtual. So I kind of, this is my life. So I do it this way. But that's a little travel hack to feel confident that you can travel. You can enjoy the mornings here in Europe. I'm in Paris right now, and you can walk along the Seine in the morning and about 2 o'clock, get back, open up your laptop and work for a couple hours and still go out to dinner. You know, the Europeans don't eat dinner till 9:30 at night anyways, most of the time. And so you've still got plenty of hours to like work and talk to some clients and such. So that's just some other travel tips. But coming back to 2 other vital systems I wanted to share, Ryan, I'm sure you're familiar with email chaos and
Yes.
conquering the email chaos. That's another one, everybody, that I really encourage. Get an executive assistant. Like you can get an offshore person, part-time, full-time, and you can train them how to use your email system, how to triage what's urgent, what's important and needs 24-hour response. Urgent is like 4 to 6 hours, right? Somebody else that's helping you. And you talked about videoing your procedures. I love Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. Just such a great book. And in it, he talks about videoing everything you do to train up people on your team. And he says the first person you got to hire is an executive assistant who's going to literally help get your email and your calendar stuff off your plate so that you can, as owner, can focus on the big important things. And you've got an assistant that can really dig in and triage and deal with all the other stuff. So a good email system not only allows you to train someone else, it's going to reduce your time as an owner on getting sucked into email for hours.
Yeah.
So definitely a core one. Another one that I would say that is vital is, and this is kind of twofold, communication systems, and there's client communications and team communications. And this is really important, everybody, on having a set way your whole company sends out emails, sends out snail mail, how you receive in emails or receive in snail mail, and it gets calendared and documented. Just having that clarity of like that high professionalism, the font, the tone, right? This is what allows us to be able to travel and know that the team is operating in that high level. And team communication. Set some standards for how are they supposed to communicate with one another. Do you use Slack or do you use Teams? Do you use Zoom or do you use Slack huddles or Zoom huddles or Teams huddles, right? Do you use emails or phone calls? Do you use OneNote or Asana, right? Like you've got to set forth as, for the company, what's the hierarchy of communicating with one another so that when you're traveling, it's easy to go, oh, anything that involves a client or someone else is going to be located in email. Any internal team project, oh, that's all in Slack or Asana or OneNote or whatever you guys just Google, whatever you guys decide to use, right? But that little hack right there, everybody, will save you hours every week from like hunting for stuff and not being able to find it. So definitely a key area of have a hierarchy, who uses what types of communication platforms for what kinds of things. Our rule of thumb is emails anytime it's multiple people outside of the firm or outside of the company, and then you attach the docs and everything. If it's a completely internal conversation, get it out of email. One less email to deal with. And so, but again, everyone, you're all different. You're all using different platforms. I'm not saying you have to abide by my hierarchy. It's more of pick a hierarchy so that everyone on your team knows what that is. But clear communications with your team, clear communications with clients, that's what, again, gets you into that proactive motion, not being reactive, which is where it can suck to be on vacation and reactive and trying to deal with fires going on when you're supposed to be in Paris, walking the streets. So if you want to be able to travel and run your business, got to nail down the communication systems.
For sure. When you're traveling, I mean, I travel a little bit, and travel and work. And when you're traveling, you're just out. I mean, I haven't experienced having an apartment somewhere else, but when you're traveling, you're already out of your element a little bit, right? From where you normally are. And just things being off a little bit or not going as planned just really, really throws you off and you scramble more than you normally would, right? I think as business owners, we're all problem solvers and most all of us think really quickly on our feet. But yeah, traveling and having something go wrong, you really, really feel like, you're on your heels and really scrambling around to get things done for sure. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
So there you go. Those were the 5 I wanted to share because I think those are the 5 vital systems, and we help business owners all the time put those in place. And that's what allows them to be able to get out, go enjoy, and not be at their office 24/7.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I've seen literally like the bad side of all 5 of those systems. Some of them in my own business, some of them in client businesses. But yes, I mean, so like businesses that operate with those 5 systems like in order, running smoothly, far, far different businesses from those that don't have those 5 in order and running smoothly. So I love this episode. I love, talking about those 5 systems. I highly encourage everybody rewind this, listen to it a second time, at least, make sure you get some good notes. I know, I took some good notes, but I'll be listening to it a second time for sure. So Kristen, as we wrap up here, I want to give you an opportunity. I'm sure that a lot of my audience probably really liked what they heard today. Where is the best place for them to find you, work with you, and learn more about you and your team?
Yeah, just pop on over to uplevelingyourbusiness.com. And on there, there's a section for, what we offer. And you can go to build your systems if that's what you're interested in. As you grow your business, you'll want to do experiences around the world with us. So we're heading off to New Zealand in April, and we've got the Paris experience later this year. we love getting owners out and having fun, but it starts with that base foundation of building your systems. And sometimes you want to just purchase a systems package and get a leg up and get the base, the template versions. Other times, some people they work best with a coach one-on-one. Again, this is all about, we want to help business owners where they need help in the way that makes most sense for them. But definitely go check out uplevelingyourbusiness.com, go to what we offer, check out about the different systems packages. And listen, you're all welcome to email me, Kristen@uplevelingyourbusiness.com. I have the joy these days of just getting to respond to people. I love helping business owners kind of triage, like, where are they? What do they need to work on? I had a gentleman just recently who he's like, oh, I need to work on my marketing assistant systems. And we're talking, it turns out his bookkeeper of 12 years just walked out on him 2 days ago. And I'm like, forget the marketing assistant systems, dude. Like, you need to work on your financial systems because you've got no bookkeeper and you've got a problem.
Yep.
And so sometimes I'm a little brutally honest about, like, yeah, you might think that the sexy thing over here in marketing is what you need, but you got to deal with this first. And so listen, you guys are all welcome to email me. And we've got a robust YouTube channel with, I walk through how to build out systems, how to deal with all kinds of systematic approaches to streamlining the business. So if you just like to listen and watch, check out some more of the videos or email, whichever learning method works for you, we're here. And Ryan, thank you for having me, because my mission in life is to help millions of business owners to learn about systems and start putting them in place so they can thrive like I am, just enjoying life and traveling and having fun. So thank you for having me on.
Of course. Yes. Thank you for taking the time. Loved having you on as a guest. And I definitely think, part 2 will be coming soon down the road. I think we need to do a part 2. So we will put that together as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Ryan.
Right. Yes. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, go accelerate your profits. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Net Profit Podcast with Ryan Kimler. Make sure to subscribe or follow the show on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to check the show notes for our guest contact information and to connect with Ryan on his website, netprofitcfo.com.